The tail of the tape at a contract weight of 165 pounds. It's Daniele Scatizzi of Italy against Dmytrii Hrytsenko of Ukraine. Scatizzi brings 18 fights worth of experience. Hrytsenko is on a roll. He comes in with that excellent 7-0 record, of course. Could be a slow burner, this one, you know, could be really, really interesting. Scatizzi is a fascinating fighter, so we'll see what the two of them can produce here. Well, Scatizzi and Hrytsenko preparing to get things underway. There's Dmytrii Hrytsenko, a training partner of Yaroslav Amosov, of course, had a desperately difficult year himself, and here's Scatizzi off the back of a great win, one that made him justifiably proud in Milan at the end of last year against David Gallant. And the question now is whether or not he can back up that victory with another. That's always the issue with him. Just a suspicion, maybe even an opinion from some that he fights to the level of his opposition, that he does just enough and sometimes falls short of even that. He can be brilliant on his night, as he showed against David Gallant, but now it's a question, rather like good wrestling, of trying to chain everything together and see if he can get a run going. Time we got to Michael C. Williams to introduce them.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here at Bellator 291, the prelims continue as we go to a contract weight fight at 165 pounds, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner. That's 6 foot, weighing in 164.2 pounds in his Bellator debut. He enters undefeated at 6-0. He hails from Shepetrovka, Ukraine, presenting Dmytrii Hrytsenko. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 164.2 pounds as a professional, 12 victories, 6 defeats, hailing from Roma, Italia. He fights out of right here in Dublin, Ireland, introducing Daniele Scatizzi. And the referee in charge, Kevin McDonald.
So Scatizzi, with his 7th outing in the Bellator cage, Hrytsenko in the blue corner on Bellator debut. You never quite know what you're going to get with Scatizzi, and you can't take your eyes off it. Going to feel each other out here, and Hrytsenko, we know, is a good striker, good on his feet. Scatizzi will try and take that away from him here.
Beautiful head kick. Bit of a question mark there. The question mark kick, that was beautiful.
Already Hrytsenko with those outside leg kicks, both just making use early on of those kicks in this feeling out process.
You can see the difference. Scatizzi is on that hunt a little bit more. Oh, he made a bit of a mistake there. Went in a bit too big. Got his back taken after he was ducked under. Dangerous position, but nothing confirmed just yet. He's still fighting for a better control here.
Those little knees from Hrytsenko just do gradual damage, don't they?
Yeah.
Saw Benson Henderson using those to great effect against Peter Queally in this cage. Just always working, Hrytsenko. No panic, though, from Scatizzi.
Yeah, neither side. He's still trying to just get a little bit up. I think those punches there kind of lost him that bite on his back, so he may lose it now. Yeah, there you go. He spun, and now they're back to the striking.
And that time, Scatizzi did connect on the way out with an uppercut. Needs to be more careful with his work. He's learned a lesson, I think, Michael, from that.
Definitely. Can't go in so big. He has to set these things up. Exactly. It's those smaller shots that set up the bigger shots.
Good from Scatizzi, but good response from Hrytsenko as well, who was more accurate with his punches.
Definitely there.
Scatizzi's were more dramatic, but Hrytsenko landed a couple of straight punches there.
He needs to be careful. Nice head kick, but on the hands. Well blocked.
Push kick there from Scatizzi. Tell you what, these two aren't hanging around.
Oh, not at all. The kind of fight people want to see.
Absolutely. Just a bit sloppy again with that lead hand, Scatizzi.
Very nice.
He's constantly switching as well, Scatizzi, and that can leave you a bit square, can't it? You can make a mistake while doing that against a good striker. Look at the redness as well. Scatizzi as they exchange again. Great action in the opening round here.
Those kicks will weigh in later in the fight if you don't sort that out.
I can confirm that Michael Venom Page has got a big smile on his face watching this. It's his kind of fight.
I love the stand-up. I love the stand-up. It's beautiful. Both of these guys seem very competent in this area as well. Good check.
Both got to be careful when they come into range. Scatizzi throwing those big hooks. He hasn't landed clean with one yet. And those money in the bank kicks as well from Hrytsenko, those leg kicks.
Hrytsenko's got very good kicks, and it could pay off later. I think he got kicked low.
Yeah, it was, but
back up. Continue.
Out of respect, acknowledge that.
Yeah, it was
step
nice.
Back, and they go again. Yes, that kick he's got to be very careful of. It comes up very quick, very easily. If he makes a mistake and it comes up, it can catch him. Good body kick there from Hrytsenko.
Minute to go in this opening round. A difficult one to score this, maybe. Good left hook there from Scatizzi that time. He did land on the chin. This time he goes for that knee.
Attempted that knee, they're now in a clinch. But yeah, he doesn't, nobody seems to want to be there. They're enjoying the striking. Both sides have that faith in their striking ability to be here.
It's interesting watching the contrast between them. Hrytsenko sticking to a clear game plan out of that orthodox stance. Scatizzi switching and looking and changing the distance occasionally.
100%. But those kicks from Hrytsenko, Scatizzi needs to be careful. They're not going to start playing a role later in the fight. Oh, again, stepped in too deep and got that takedown. He keeps doing that. He's got a good bite on his hips, as you can see. You should keep that bite and pull him a little bit further away from the cage by this time.
Remember when Ryan Scope fought Patricky in Newcastle?
Man.
Josh pointed at Patricky in the bar afterwards and said, look, that's what they do. Always remember that leg. And that's what Hrytsenko's doing at the moment, trying to just slow up Scatizzi.
Definitely. He's very evasive. On the back foot, but accurate.
So what will round two bring? Daniele Scatizzi, known as Scat, after a brilliant win against the pugnacious Frenchman
nice
Davy Gallant.
Scatizzi is a bit more responsive to those leg kicks now. He's actually trying to check or move away. So it means it did hurt in that first round. There's some nice kicks from both of them. They just need to figure out exactly when the best to land it. Some are thrown a little bit recklessly.
I was going to say, took the words out of my mouth. Just talk us through how important it is as we watch this for them to set up these shots with both hands and legs.
They got absolutely amazing kicks and attributes, but if you don't set them up, you know, they won't find anything. It's a waste of a lot of energy, and it can work against you sometimes. As we saw with some of the, twice now, Scatizzi jumped in massively with that hook with no setup, and then got taken down or had his back taken. So the setup's massively important.
And there's Hrytsenko getting back to that kick. Really accurate, really punishing on that lead leg of Scatizzi. Of course, he switches the lead leg as he does right on cue. But they both come to fight all right.
Definitely. Hrytsenko's got a nice style. Just on the back foot, nice little bounce. But again, very accurate, lovely kicks. Almost waiting for Scatizzi to make a mistake.
Scatizzi does take that risk when he comes into range, doesn't he? And lets those big hooks go.
Oh,
Turned his back again there.
I thought he was actually going to spin there. Potentially could have happened, but he kind of second-guessed himself. I think that's the worst thing to do in a fight. If you're going to do it, it's best to just throw it. Scatizzi looks a little bit tired now. Just a little bit. Some of the shots that he's throwing, a little bit lazy.
It's interesting there to see Hrytsenko start to go to the body as well. Big right hook again from Scatizzi, but again, it was a glancing shot more than anything. Hrytsenko's one of those fighters who seems to throw things with minimal effort, doesn't he?
Yes, it looks, and I love watching fights like that and styles like that. His leg comes up effortlessly. His bounce is lovely. Obviously, I'm a fan of bouncing myself. Again, that leg kick comes in, keeps coming up. Oh, beautiful kick, beautiful spin kick. Oh, he should never do this.
Scatizzi played to the camera there, big smile on his face. There's great respect between the two of them.
Definitely. So that kick is going to take effect on beautiful shots there.
Yeah, that was a good long right hand, wasn't it? Is Hrytsenko going to start to commit a bit more when Scatizzi overcommits when he comes in close?
I think he thinks his game plan's working. He's landing the shots. He's not getting hit. There's not too much damage on his side. Although he's on the back foot, he's actually landing the better shots right now.
He does look like he's there to be countered, Scatizzi, doesn't he?
Definitely. And the more tired, the more likely.
Tired body, tired mind as we head to the final 80 seconds or so of this second round. Hrytsenko's breathing heavily as well, but Scatizzi's the one who really went for this early. Here the Hrytsenko fans here to support Yaroslav Amosov, of course, later as well. The right hand again there from Hrytsenko.
Hrytsenko is actually looking very good. He's sticking to the game plan. They're both getting tired, but that's the second time he's dipped now. He needs to be careful. He's caught on a front headlock. There's some knees. He needs to get out. He can't stay here. Put his hand down or knee down to stop that. Oh, there you go. He's out.
Short elbow, though, from Scatizzi there.
And a nice shot on the way out. But again, I think it burned a lot of energy. That's why Hrytsenko's actually pushing now.
He senses it, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he's got his back. He's trying to table him, but I think the wrong side. He wants to table him away from the cage, not towards the cage.
15 seconds to go in this.
A bit of a hand fight going. He's cleared one, so he may escape. 10 seconds.
Good round, you have to say.
Good defense.
Hrytsenko. Really good fight. Great left hook there from Hrytsenko.
Excellent round, excellent round.
Hold on.
Hrytsenko doesn't. He's definitely tired, but looks a lot more lively on his feet.
Thought it was interesting to hear the finisher in you as well. There was a moment in that second round when you said he spotted it. He spotted that he's tired, and fighters do, don't they? You get that sixth sense.
His chin's a bit higher now, Scatizzi, and he can get caught out. After he lands his combinations, his chin's a little bit lifted. And Hrytsenko seems to have nice combinations after Scatizzi's comes in. Well, there you go. Lands right on the chin.
Hook again, and he senses it again. But a good response from Scatizzi. A wild swing there, but they caught each other with uppercuts there.
And that just tells your fighter that you're still in the fight. And it gives you, look, just put him on the back foot again. So it's just a great response in that time.
And right now, I know a lot of you like to sit and score these fights at home, and you'd look at it and say, round two, Hrytsenko fairly for sure.
Yes.
Round one, give to Hrytsenko, but there'd be an argument. So we could be in one of those strange positions here. Scatizzi may still be very much in this. I think he needs a big third round, though, Michael.
Yeah, I think he can't wait like he's waiting at right now. He needs to make it a bit more definitive and go and really push for the fight, push for the win. But it's the tired legs that's doing it. It's making it harder for him to really want to go.
Now we're seeing that money in the bank, aren't we, from those leg kicks?
Yes. I think he's trying to build energy to have moments of explosions. I see fighters do that a lot, but I think it's probably better to keep tagging, keep pushing forward. You'll find your opponent makes more mistakes when you're actually applying pressure. But he can't wait like this.
Hrytsenko's definitely tiring as well. His work rate has dropped understandably.
But I also think he knows he's ahead.
That's a dangerous thing to think you know.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Beautiful inside leg kick.
He's really smooth. He's been very accurate with most of his work here.
Beautiful uppercut. Excellent. Nice long uppercut there.
Oh, great right hand as well from Hrytsenko.
Scatizzi needs to work. He needs to work. Right now, he's not doing enough, and he's getting hit quite a lot.
Tell you what, there's one or two Ukrainians who you might have heard of who can box, and Hrytsenko can certainly strike. Lovely fluid movement of the feet and the hands.
And that leg kick again. Oh, he keeps ducking a little bit too much.
That's what Scatizzi's looking for. But again, those booming hooks, and he dips the head, and then he comes back with that kick. Big deep breath from Scatizzi. 2 minutes here, MVP.
He needs to push. There's only a few minutes left of the fight. He needs to go. His corner needs to find a way to get him amped up and pushing forward.
Hrytsenko looks the lighter on his feet.
Oh, a beautiful shot. Beautiful 1-2.
And he switches to southpaw again and throws that straight left hand this time, but that's dangerous.
Yes. This is where he wants to be. This is where he needs to be. He needs to not worry, push forward. There's only a minute and a half left. Push forward and try and take the fight from him right at the end.
Hrytsenko took a risk there. He didn't need to take. He didn't need to be there.
Not at all. Sometimes you get trapped in the moment of just wanting to fight.
Booming left hook from Scatizzi.
Yeah, he's pushed him on the back, but he needs to not alleviate that pressure, keep the pressure going.
It's whether he's got it, it's whether he's got that energy.
He's ducking his head a bit too much. I think a knee is on. A knee is massively on against Hrytsenko, but Scatizzi hasn't spotted it. Beautiful leg kicks. These leg kicks are definitely playing a role. He's going to feel it tonight.
Final 30 seconds. Is Scatizzi doing enough to take this third round? He had that bit of success, but that's a great shot. And the knee was on there.
Yeah. He just did it just in the wrong moment. He did it while he was on his back foot, not the front foot. But a great knee, went to the body.
So he saw it, he just didn't execute it.
Just the wrong timing, just the wrong timing. You've got it again, apply that pressure, and as he comes forward, there it is, there it is. He's just doing the wrong thing. He's trying to throw the high kick instead of the knee.
Scatizzi's going to swing for the fences here, and he landed with a shot.
He has to go.
And an uppercut as well.
They're going for it. Oh, amazing finish.
Big round of applause from Michael Venom Page alongside me. That was a terrific fight, and they both think they've won it. Let's get to Michael C. Williams to see who's got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Marcel Varela, scores the fight 30-27, while judges Ben Cartledge and Paul Sutherland both see it the same, 29-28. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Dmytrii